Are you aware that Muslim women face restrictions on wearing hijab or burqa in several countries around the world? In this video, we'll be discussing the top 10 countries where hijab is banned for Muslim women. From France to China, we'll explore the laws and policies that prohibit the wearing of hijab, burqa, or face veils in public places, schools, and government offices. While some countries cite security reasons for the ban, others claim that it violates fundamental freedoms. But is it just these concerns, or is there some kind of hidden agenda? Join us as we delve into this controversial topic and shed light on the experiences of Muslim women living in these countries. Number 10. France, the country known for its iconic landmarks and rich culture, also happens to be the first country in Europe to ban the burqa and hijab, traditional garments worn by Muslim women. This law, which was enacted in 2011, prohibits the wearing of these garments in public places, schools, and government offices. If caught, a woman may face a fine of €150. While the French government portrays this ban as a way to promote freedom and secularism, many Muslims living in France feel that it is an attack on their religious beliefs and a violation of their personal freedom. The ban has left many Muslim women feeling ostracized and marginalized in their own country. Despite the government's insistence that the ban is meant to promote integration and gender equality, some suspect that the hidden agenda behind it is to force Muslim women to abandon their religious practices and assimilate to French culture. Number 9. North Korea. This country, led by Kim Jong-un, does not support Islam, Christianity, or any religion at all. Religious texts such as the Quran and Bible are completely banned in the country. North Korea wants its people to worship only Kim Jong-un and his family. From school textbooks to the state level, only obedience to the ruling family is taught. In such an environment, it is not surprising that the hijab and burqa, which reflect Islamic ideology, are completely prohibited. This prohibition has been in place for some time, and it's unclear whether it's a political maneuver to force Muslims to conform to the state ideology or simply an extension of the country's overall repression of religious freedom. Regardless, it is a stark reminder of the lack of religious freedom in North Korea, and the suppression of personal beliefs in favor of state-sanctioned ones. Number 8. Switzerland. While Switzerland is known for its scenic landscapes and skiing resorts, it's also a country where some parts have banned burqas, niqabs, and any face coverings for women. In June 2018, a law was passed by a popular vote, which has been implemented since July of that year. Under this law, a woman can be fined up to €9,200 for being seen wearing a niqab. The Swiss Central Council has commented on the passing of the act, stating that it was a dark day for Muslims. However, proponents of the ban argue that it's necessary for national security and to promote a secular society. They portray it as a way of giving women freedom, while taking away their religious freedom. But many Muslims living in Switzerland believe that this law is discriminatory and infringes upon their right to practice their religion. Number 7. Italy. Muslims have been living in Italy since the 9th century, and today they make up over 4% of the country's population. However, despite their long history in the country, Muslims in Italy face various forms of discrimination. In 2015, the Italian government passed a law banning the wearing of full-face veils, including the niqab and burqa, in public places. The government claimed that the law was necessary to promote security and public safety. However, many Muslims felt that the law was an interference with their religious freedom. In addition, in 2016, Italy passed a law that makes it more difficult for Muslims to build new mosques. The law requires that new places of worship be authorized by the local government and that they comply with strict safety and building regulations. This has made it much harder for Muslims to practice their religion in Italy. While the Italian government portrays these laws as promoting freedom and safety, many Muslims see them as an attempt to force them to abandon their religious practices and assimilate into Italian society. Number 6. Belgium. Belgium has a significant Muslim population, which began settling in the country in the 1960s. Currently, the Muslim population in Belgium is estimated to be around 5% of the total population. Despite this, in 2011, Belgium became the second European country to ban the wearing of full-face veils, including burqas and niqabs, in public places. The ban was met with widespread criticism, with many feeling that it interfered with religious freedom. However, the Belgian government cited security concerns as the primary reason for the ban. The government argued that the full-face veil made it difficult to identify individuals in public spaces, which could be a security risk. Despite the ban, Muslim women continue to wear the niqab and burqa in private settings and within their communities. The ban has been challenged by civil liberties groups, who argue that it is a violation of religious freedom. They also argue that the ban disproportionately affects Muslim women, who are already marginalized in society. The Belgian government portrays the ban as a way to give women greater freedom by removing what they see as a symbol of oppression. However, many Muslims see the ban as a way to force them to abandon their religious beliefs and practices, which is a clear violation of their religious freedom. Before moving ahead, I will request you to please subscribe our channel. Also press the bell so you can be updated from all upcoming videos. Let's move to number 5. Number 5. Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is a predominantly Buddhist country with a diverse population that includes Muslims. Muslims have been living in the country for centuries and currently make up around 10% of the population. However, in the aftermath of a terrorist attack in 2019 that killed over 250 people, the Sri Lankan government has imposed a ban on full face coverings, including the hijab, citing national security concerns. Many Muslims in Sri Lanka feel that this ban unfairly targets their community and restricts their religious freedom. They argue that wearing the hijab is a personal choice and does not pose a threat to national security. Some have also pointed out that the ban could be used to stoke anti-Muslim sentiment and further marginalize the community. Despite these concerns, the ban remains in place and women who violate it risk facing fines or even imprisonment. The Sri Lankan government has defended the ban as a necessary measure to maintain public safety and prevent extremist activities. However, some observers believe that it is part of a broader crackdown on the Muslim community in the country. Number 4. Russia. Muslims have been living in Russia for centuries, and the country is home to a large Muslim population of approximately 14 million people, which is around 10% of the total population. Muslims in Russia face several challenges, including restrictions on the practice of their religion. In some parts of the country, such as schools, government offices, and other designated places, women are prohibited from wearing the niqab or burqa. The government cites security reasons as the justification for banning the hijab, but many Muslims living in the country believe that it is an infringement of their religious freedom. The ban was imposed in 2013, and there have been reports of police violence against women who have violated the ban. It is suspected that the ban is part of an attempt to suppress Islamic extremism in the country. However, many Muslims argue that this approach only serves to increase tensions and mistrust between the Muslim community and the state. Number 3. Spain. Spain has a long history of Muslim influence and there are currently around 2.5 million Muslims living in the country. However, in some parts of Spain, the niqab, a full-face veil, has been banned in public places, with fines for those who disobey the law. This ban was implemented in 2010, and although it was challenged by some Muslim groups, it was ultimately upheld by the country's Supreme Court in 2013. The ban is controversial, with some arguing that it violates religious freedom and targets Muslim women in particular. Those who support the ban argue that it promotes integration and public safety. However, many Muslims living in Spain feel that the law is discriminatory and unfairly targets their community. The implementation of the ban varies across the country, with some regions enforcing it more strictly than others. Some Muslim women have reported instances of harassment and discrimination as a result of the ban, including being denied entry to public buildings or transport. Others have chosen to comply with the law in order to avoid these issues. Some argue that it is part of a larger trend of Islamophobia and discrimination against Muslims in Europe. Others suggest that it is an attempt to control Muslim women and force them to abandon their religious practices. Regardless of the motivations behind the ban, it has had a significant impact on the Muslim community in Spain and continues to be a contentious issue. Number 1. China, with a population of more than 1.4 billion, is the largest country in the world. Although there are around 22 to 25 million Muslims in China, the country largely discourages religious observance. The Chinese government ordered a ban on women's burqas, face veils, and long beards by men in the Islamic area of the country, Xinjiang, in 2017. Muslims are not allowed to practice their religion freely and are subjected to strict surveillance measures. The ban is being implemented through the use of high-tech surveillance, including facial recognition technology, to track and identify individuals who do not comply. The Chinese government claims that the ban is necessary for national security, but many believe that the true reason behind the ban is to force Muslim women to abandon their religious beliefs and practices. So, the banning of hijab and other face-covering garments in these countries has generated controversy and raised concerns about religious freedom and human rights violations. It's important to recognize that the hijab has deep cultural and religious significance for Muslim women, and its ban can lead to social isolation and exclusion. While some governments argue that the ban is necessary for security or cultural integration, it's crucial to consider the impact of such policies on Muslim communities and to strive for a more inclusive and tolerant society. Thank you for watching, and please let us know your thoughts on this topic in the comments below.